So something strange happened today. AMC reported earnings in the morning. They were not supposed to. As you can see from the economic calendar, AMC's earnings were scheduled for after hours. So what the hell's going on here? And what do you need to know? We're going to get into all of the data and apparently go over AMC's earnings as well. I believe the earnings call itself is still at 5:30 p.m. today. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. And you better have some questions or concerns, that's for sure. So, first things first. AMC's earnings. Like I said, we were not supposed to get these this morning. For whatever reason, they released them in the morning. It says AMC stock rallies after swinging to profit, boosted by highest quarterly attendance since 2019. So, shares of AMC Entertainment Holdings rallied 3.9% in pre-market trading Tuesday after the movie theater operator reported second quarter results that beat expectations amid a 12% increase in attendance and higher per guest spending, which far exceeded pre-pandemic norms. The movie theater chain and meme stock darling swung to net income of $8.6 million or 1 cent a share from a loss of $121.6 million or 12 cents a share in the year ago period. Excluding non-recurring items, AMC broke even on an adjusted per share basis, beating the FactSet consensus for a per share loss of 4 cents. So AMC just went profitable, my friends. Absolutely insane. They just went profitable by $8.6 million. Last year in the same quarter, they lost $121.6 million. On an adjusted per share basis, AMC broke even. Zero loss per share. Zero gain, zero loss. Analysts were expecting a loss per share of 4 cents. Now, revenue grew 15.6% to $1.35 billion, above the FactSet consensus of $1.29 billion, as attendance rose 12.2% to 66.37 million. Average tickets increased 1.8% to $11.21, and food and beverage revenue per patron climbed 9.7% to $7.36. In a statement, AMC CEO Adam Aron said the company's theaters across the globe welcomed more than 66 million guests in the second quarter, making AMC's highest quarterly attendance number since the fourth quarter of 2019. The 2023 domestic box office is 20% ahead of last year, according to Aaron. We believe the second half of the year could be even better unless the current writer/actor strike wind up delaying the release of movie titles into next year, he said. The third quarter of 2023 is off to an explosive start with Barbie, Oppenheimer, Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1, and Sound of Freedom, among others, combining to cause July to become the highest monthly revenue in AMC's storied 103-year history. So basically what happened is last quarter you actually swung to a profitability of about 1 cent a share, $8.6 million of net profits. And then Adam Aron is saying July is even better than any month we've seen in Q2. So if this holds up, you could see a decent profit for next quarter. Now, what does this do? Well, it reduces some of that burden AMC apparently has right now where they have to raise capital. Right? It says Aaron also discussed the company's balance sheet. During the second quarter, AMC raised some $34 million of cash through the sale of AMC preferred equity units and reduced the principal balance of its debt by $42 million through debt repurchases, he said. As of June 30th, 2023, the company's cash position was $435.3 million, excluding restricted cash of $22.9 million. AMC's available liquidity was $643.4 million. But the CEO reiterated his recent warning that AMC faces liquidity challenges. Even with our $643 million of quarter-ending liquidity, our ability to continue to raise capital and remain agile are absolutely vital to maintaining a strong recovery trajectory, he said. There There are real and potentially severe liquidity hurdles on the horizon that we will need to overcome. AMC's plan to convert its APE units to common stock was blocked last month when a Delaware judge rejected a settlement that would have allowed the deal to proceed. The stock conversion plan was part of the movie theaters chain and meme stocks darling's ongoing battle to eliminate debt. So this is weird, right? AMC was not supposed to release their earnings this morning, but they did, and they were very, very positive. Much better than expectations basically across the board, right? Their total liquidity came in better than expectations. EPS came in better than expectations. AMC actually was profitable. Now, July is also the best month in AMC's history so far as well in 103 years. This is also very positive when you look out to Q3. So these things are having a positive effect to AMC stock today. Now, AMC stock is only up about 0.5%, about 0.68%. I think a lot of that has to do with the fact the NASDAQ is down over 1.5% today. Still, it's pretty hard to see AMC go higher when the markets are essentially crashing, right? And that's what is happening today. So I think if you mix kind of the markets crashing with the markets not expecting AMC's earnings this morning, it creates an interesting dynamic. So what in the heck do we expect from here? Well, I think this is more positive, right, than it is negative. So I think you'll have a positive kind of tailwind at our backs. Now, stocks that do well on earnings tend to do well for multiple days following earnings as well. So we'll see what happens. If you take a look at Ortex, cost to borrow fees did jump by about 100% today. Cost to borrow fees from Interactive Brokers, 244%. Cost to borrow max, 380%. Cost to borrow minimum, 366%. Cost to borrow minimum, 351.5%. AMC stock is still on the threshold securities list. We'll talk about that in just a moment. The live short interest of free float at 30.27%. 156.27 million shares that are currently sold short as well. If we take a look at the option activity, 20 orders totaling $3.59 million with a positive order value of 0%. So not very positive here today, but you're not seeing that many dollars actually flowing into AMC's options as you typically do, which I think is pretty interesting as well. Taking a breather on some of those put options here today. Now, if you take a look at the FTD numbers that come due today, well, you don't have anything. Tomorrow, you're going to have 14.6 million running FTDs that do come due plus per the T plus 35 settlement time. So that can create a little bit more of an upward pressure potentially on AMC stock. So keep that in mind. And now that earnings are released, you have seen the calls increase a little bit. Expiring this week, you got about 45,000 calls currently in the money, 171,000 calls out the money. You actually have more calls in the money than you have puts in the money right now, which is kind of interesting and a change of pace from what we have seen recently. Puts in the money at about 44,000, puts out the money at 310,000. So again, we're still waiting on news from the courts. If that news comes this week or not, I think is a question that's up for debate. If it does, you want to see if you get a big influx of option activity or not, right? If you start to see 50, 100,000, options head on to this week or even next week, that could start to move around the stock quite a bit as well. So do go ahead and keep that in mind. Obviously, it's not a guarantee anything happens this week, but definitely something to keep in mind. Now, today is Tuesday. We didn't really have any economic data that came out that actually moved the markets. Tomorrow, you're not going to have much as well. You're going to have a lot of bond auctions, including a 10-year bond auction that will be important. And today's earnings and after hours, Rivian, Upstart, Supermicro, Twilio, Marathon, Invitae, Celsius, SoundHound, and Luminar. Wednesday's really the big day for earnings this week, if there was going to be a big day. Roblox, Sony, Wendy's in pre-market, Disney, Plug Power, Trade Desk, Win, Sonos, and Illumina in after hours. Now, this morning, UPS actually guided down, and it looks like did not do well. So that is also having a negative impact on our markets today. But not just that, you're also getting some pretty negative news coming out of China. China's, see if we can find it real quick. China's data came in really, really bad. Let's just go ahead and search it real quick. Let's see. Yeah, exports dropped 14%. Yeah, China's not doing so good. And that is what kind of hurt pre-market. That's why if you looked at your phone or computer last night, you've seen that the markets were down about 0.5% across the board. It was because of this. And then once we started trading today, you had Moody's that downgraded the banks. So Moody's downgrades 10 regional banks, warns that bigger Wall Street names could also be downgraded as well. And some of them were, the biggest ones was Buffalo-based M&T Bank, the 19th largest in the nation by assets, according to the Federal Reserve. A number of larger banks are now under review, including Bank of New York Mellon, U.S. Bank, today, saying, they downgraded 10 banks, but some of these guys are likely next as well. They said most bank deposits were flat or down only modestly, but the mix worsened with non-interest bearing deposits declining and banks paying more for deposits. Moody's analyst Jill Sentina and Anna Arsov wrote in a note accompanying the announcement, the resulting drop in net interest income and net interest margins eroded profitability and thus the ability to replenish capital internally. So, pretty bad. This is probably the thing that is hurting the banks the most today, and I would say is hurting the markets the most today as well. So that's kind of what is going on today. Now let's take a look briefly at AMC's short score, things of that nature, days to cover, and then we'll look at the charts and wrap up this video, let you guys get on with whatever else you are doing. So short score is sitting at 93. You got about $800 million worth of short positions in AMC. 30.15% short interest on free float out on loan at 37.6%. 194 million shares that are currently out on loan. Days to cover 8.24. Trailing 3-month cost of borrow fees 251.59%. Utilization at 81.66%. And then if we take a look at the charts, markets are almost hitting a new low right now as we speak. AMC stock is not mirroring that, so that is positive, but still, this is having an effect on AMC and really muting a lot of the rally. Like you've seen after the earnings report came out, AMC stock basically rallied until you open for trading. This could be some manipulation. This could be some of that dark pool trading activity going on as well. Maybe even some of the naked shorts, given how many FTDs that we currently have on the stock. But I think this follows the same pattern that we have been seeing, right? The pattern has been very bullish. This has been a very bullish pattern. And it continues to look that way as well. We obviously want to see what happens towards the end of the day today if we do retrace back towards the upside. But this is a decent little retracement right here in and of itself. So it could mean we kind of trade sideways for a little while, or we could, ultimately make that way up again. The RSI is at 58.37, and the MACD is in positive territory, sitting right here around 0.14 on the CCC, and the blue line, the signal line, sitting right here at about 0.10. So in positive territory, pretty nicely there. The RSI also looks pretty good, and the charts look really good. You're above $5 per share. The next resistance level, as we've seen today, was $5.50 per share. That is going to be the next level of resistance, guys. So that is going to do it for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comments section. You guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.